Yo, how is everyone doing? Let me know if the audio is fine, the video is fine. Let me know in chat. When the earnings call starts, which should be in like 10 or so minutes, I'll make sure we switch over to that audio so you can all hear it. How is everyone doing? Let me know if you can hear me and see me okay. I'm just going to check all my audio, all my signals. I have mask fluff in my mouth, so that's fun, isn't it? How is everyone doing? By the way, what is this in the chat about me having a dog that died? I don't have a dog and it hasn't died. I keep seeing that in the chat. A little bit confused. How is everyone doing? Congrats on 18K. Thank you so much. Are you ready for a nothing burger? Yeah, so let me just give you a little breakdown of what we're actually going to expect on this call. So I'm expecting not anything about Trailer 2, nothing dramatic. What I'm expecting is them to refine their predictions for the timeline for GTA 6. And we'll know if the game's delayed, because when they give their predictions for the next 12 months, if they remove $7 billion, well, if their $7 billion prediction becomes a $5.6 billion prediction, we know that GTA 6 probably isn't coming between now and November next year. 500 viewers, yeah. Slow mode is on for 30 seconds to stop people spamming the chat over and over again. That's why I've got slow mode on. Last stream, a lot of people requested it, so yeah, a lot of people have asked me to talk about the whole Trump thing. To be honest, I don't get involved in politics. You guys are here for GTA. I'm here for GTA. Why has my screen moved? That is a... 1 second. Let me just reset the screen. We're going to sort this out. Oh my Lord. There we go. Technology. Let me just see. That's the hold music. That we haven't... The call hasn't started yet. As soon as the call starts, I will make sure that we stream it. Also, as well, me knowing how annoying it is when people pause the earnings calls, I'm going to play it. I'm going to leave it playing. Only when something really interesting happens, we'll pause it and then we'll discuss for 30 seconds and then we'll carry on, because I know you guys just want to hear the earnings call. So I don't want to be in a situation like when people pause it and talk about it for 4 hours. No one wants that. We're all here for the earnings call. And yeah, like people are saying in the chat, you know, I don't think we're going to think anything major from the earnings call. I mean, there's a chance we could do. Of course we could do. Also, just for those that wonder, the earnings call is not a video call. It is quite simply just them talking on the phone. So I'll just be playing the audio on here. There is nothing to look at. So yeah. Just reading chat. Also, whilst you're all here, because I post regular updates on GTA stuff, please make sure to just tap that subscribe button. I know everyone says this, but it genuinely means a lot. It helps the channel. It helps in the algorithm. If you guys are interested in GTA 6, it will tell the algorithm that I make GTA 6 stuff. So if you could just tap that subscribe button, honestly, it takes 1 second of your time, but means the absolute world to me. What's the difference between YouTube and Twitch? Yeah, I know. No one watches me on Twitch. Like, my YouTube live streams do really well. Just, I don't know. I still don't really know how to use Twitch properly. Never really got into it. Let me see if the call has started. Hasn't started yet. By the way, can you guys, if I just turn this down, can you guys hear this hold music? Let me know in the chat. If you can, it means that you'll be able to hear the call. Let me know in the chat if you can hear that. Yeah, it's quiet. Yeah, you can all hear that. That's good. Right. I'll mute it for now. You can't hear the music. Can you hear the music? Oh. Now. Let me make it louder. Can you hear it? Is it louder now? Sweet, cool. Right, let me mute it for now till the call starts. When they talk, it'll be a bit louder. It's quite quiet background music. So when they talk, we'll readjust the audio. Emmanuel, how you doing? Hey, Starboy, can I give you a kiss on the mouth? I'm going to say no to that. I've paused the music for now just because it's their hold music before the call starts. The call should be starting in 7 minutes. Thank you for the £5 for super chat. What a legend. Let me see what that chat says from Rob. GTA 5 sold 205 million copies. Take-Two sold their private division publishing label. They said GTA 6 still fall 2025. We'll see. That's a good point, actually. What do you guys think GTA 6 will sell in the first 24 hours? How much money do you think it will make in the first 20-something hours? Yeah, the whole thing about the Moon DLC and the car leaning on the guy leaning on the car. No one's mentioning this yet, but it's worth mentioning. The Moon is in that waning gibbous phase for 5 days of every month of the year. So, you know, there's a 1 in 5 chance of anyone saying that it means GTA 6 trailer 2 being correct. And they're pretty good odds, so I'd ignore that. 500 million. I reckon it would do about 1 billion. Oliver Shaw, 1.1 billion. Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. I think that's a fair assumption to make. I reckon pre-orders alone will do over 1 billion. Let me see if this broadcast has started. No, it hasn't. We've got some groovy little quiet background music. Imagine if GTA 6 is free to play. I hope GTA 6 isn't free to play, because if it's free to play, it means that they're going to go even harder with the monetization, which is worrying. King Tut, how you doing? Do you think? I think PC release could be 2027. Maybe it release on launch. We don't know yet. It's too early to tell. We got earnings call spoilers before GTA 6. Blue by Daylight, how are you doing? Or Indy, should I say, how are you doing? Where are people finding the confirmation about fall 2025? So that was in an earnings call probably 6 months ago. They gave their predicted released games for the next 12 months. Well, I think it was next year and a half for them, 2 or 3 years. And that's what it meant. When the earnings call start and we see it live, also please give shout out. Yasar, thank you so much for the donation, dude. Hope you're doing well. The earnings call starts in 4 minutes. I think 4 minutes. Yeah, 4 minutes. It's not going yet. But yeah, I'm hoping from this earnings call we get a little bit of information. I'm not expecting anything drastic. I'm not expecting a trailer 2 date. I'm expecting a narrowed down release window for GTA 6. But also they'll give us their predictions on the next fiscal year maybe, which will tell us if GTA 6 is delayed or not. But as we get to that, we'll cross those bridges as we get through it. And if anything really saucy happens, we'll pause it and I'll explain what it means. If you don't know, if you do know, then we'll just keep going. What are they going to talk about on the call? We don't know yet. We have no idea yet. But I guess it's part of the fun. We'll find out. Jake Games, thank you so much, dude. I'm glad you're loving the content. Stevie Wonder Kid, how you doing, man? 900 viewers. Yeah, I think the highest we've ever had was 950. If we can get to 1,000, that'd be amazing. So if you guys can subscribe, tap the like button, it will tell the algorithm that I'm handsome and my mama loves me. Let's see. Chat's frozen on screen. This keeps happening. Let me unfreeze chat. If anyone knows any really good chat plugins for Streamlabs, let me know, because We've been having a few problems with this chat. Off, back on, close. Chat should come back in a second. Let's see. We're still on the hold music, boys. We're still on the hold music. Cyberboy is indeed handsome. Thank you so much, Internet Mouse. What even is an earnings call? So an earnings call allows Take-Two Interactive to talk to their investors about what the plans are for all of their businesses. And Take-Two own Rockstar. So one of the things that they tend to talk about is what they're planning on doing over the next 6, 12 months, whatever it might be. And that usually allows us to get a better idea of what we can expect from Take-Two for the next, Take-Two and the subsidiary companies like Rockstar for the next 12 months. Almost 1,000. Oh, Yannick Engelhardt, thank you so much for the donation. I was going to sleep, then I saw the stream. Who even needs sleep? Thank you so much for being here. It's massively appreciated. Thank you so much. Also, during the earnings call, if I miss any super chats, I will make sure we go back at the end to go through all of the messages and stuff so I don't miss any. 1,008 of you here. Thank you all so much for being here. Let's see if the earnings call hasn't started yet. Soon as it does, I promise you, we'll get straight into it. Twin Twitch viewers. I think that's the highest amount of Twitch viewers I've ever had. No one ever watches me on Twitch. You know, yeah. Also, before we get into the earnings call, sorry for plugging so many things. I hate feeling like a shill. But Venom, one of my channel sponsors, they massively support the channel. If you want to buy controller accessories and all of this stuff like gaming console and PC accessories as well, which they're starting to introduce, check them out and use code CYBERBOY for free shipping. Sorry, I'll stop being a shill now. I've become everything I hate. Call hasn't started yet. Right, I promise you, as soon as it starts, we'll get straight into it. Trailer 2 is cool and all, but when we get in Trailer 3, vibe. F sleep is overrated. Everyone does need sleep. With filthy stink. Imagine if, like, Strauss Zelnick starts the earning call by talking about strippers. Doesn't realize the microphone's on. Oh, hasn't started yet. Any second. Right, I'm going to leave that background music on. Oh, the call is starting. No, it's the track restarting. Take-Two got me on edge right now. Take-Two got me on edge. Dark Creator, thank you so much, man. Hopefully you've been enjoying the content. Trying to keep everyone updated with GTA 6 news as and when it happens. So if you guys enjoy GTA 6 content, make sure you just tap that subscribe button. Oh my god, I sound like every cringe YouTuber. But yeah, hang around if you like GTA 6 videos, because I do a lot of them. Maybe too many. Maybe. I do a lot. Trailer 2 in 3026. Oh yeah, let me reset chat again. Chat box. We'll see if that resets now and start showing some YouTube stuff. Not sure what happened then. Why is it only showing? Sorry about that, guys. Chat seems to have disappeared from the screen. I'm going to see if that fixes itself. Sorry about that. I'll make sure chat stays on after the stream. That is very strange. Sorry about that. That is actually the first time that's had that weird glitch. For now, we're just going to stick with Twitch chat. In fact, we're going to turn the chat off the screen entirely. I'll overlay that back in after on the edit. Jake the Slump God, W Cyberboy, thank you, dude. Let me just make sure I read through the chat. Make sure I don't miss anything. The earnings call should be about 30 minutes long-ish, give or take. Sometimes it goes up to 40 minutes, but rarely. I was 11 when GTA 5 came out, and the story was amazing to me. I feel that. Today, it's one of those stories that sticks out. That alongside Red Dead Redemption. Favorite GTA and why? Probably GTA 5 followed by Vice City. Top Secret. How likely would Rockstar cold drop? How likely would it be for Rockstar to cold drop trailer 2? Congrats on 18k. Thank you so much, dude. Likelihood of a cold drop is quite high just because of everything that happened with trailer 1. With the seed data being leaked. Maybe it's not a cold drop. Maybe we get, for example, an announcement but then not a YouTube premiere, just a straight YouTube drop. It's hard to say, but I personally think that yeah. Has it started? Hang on, let me reset. Apparently it started. What? There we go. We're in.
Red Dead Redemption 2 posted another fantastic quarter. The title has sold in more than 67 million units to date, and 6 years after its release still ranks in the top 10 for unit sales globally according to GSD. Rockstar Games was pleased to expand its audience further with the successful launch of Red Dead Redemption and Undead Nightmare for PC on October 29th. On September 6th, 2K and Visual Concepts launched NBA 2K25, which scored among the highest ratings on new-gen consoles in recent franchise history. Our teams continue to raise the bar for excellence with the addition of 9,000 new pro-play animations that provide increased authenticity, an all-new dribble engine representing the biggest technological update in the series' 26-year history, and a more interactive and engaging experience in the city. To date, the title has sold in nearly 4.5 million units and achieved phenomenal recurrent consumer spending performance. Compared to NBA 2K24 for the same period last year, NBA 2K25 delivered meaningful double-digit growth in average revenue per user and 40% growth in average games per user. I'd like to congratulate 2K and Visual Concepts for another stellar launch in our industry-leading NBA franchise. Our catalog also outperformed, led by our immensely popular Borderlands franchise. Now the Gearbox has officially joined the 2K and Take-Two family, we're eager to capitalize on the many potential growth opportunities for Borderlands, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, and other Gearbox titles. Zynga delivered another quarter of solid results. Match Factory is scaling rapidly and is on track to become Zynga's second largest title by the end of this year in terms of projected annual net bookings. The title grew approximately 16% over last quarter, driven by its engaging gameplay, including the recent Star Race Bold Beat, and our strategic investments in user acquisition. Toon Blast is maintaining its fantastic path of growth, with net bookings increasing more than 50% over last year, as our teams deploy highly engaging new features, including new single-player and team-based events and social challenges. We're also achieving great results as we apply our learnings to other games in Zynga's portfolio, including Toy Blast. Our blended monetization efforts in hyper-casual are advancing well. In particular, Screwjam remains a top 50 game in the US Apple App Store. We're encouraged by the net bookings and profitability milestones that the title has reached, and we're optimistic about it going forward. Nordeus released the highly anticipated 2025 edition of our popular soccer manager game Top 11. Backed by a month-long marketing campaign, the release generated positive sentiment around the community, which helped solidify the largest in-app purchase spending per active user in the game's 14-year history. During the quarter, Zynga launched Game of Thrones Legends, and we remain excited about the label's future mobile launches, including CSR3 Streetcar Racing. We continue to expand our offerings within our highly accretive direct-to-consumer business. With our current success and new titles on the horizon, we're confident in the future outlook of including many of our industry's most highly anticipated sequels. We expect to deliver leading returns for our shareholders. I'll now turn the call over to Carl.
Thanks, Strauss. I'd like to thank our teams for consistently executing against our strategy and for positioning our company to deliver the strongest anticipated growth trajectory and multi-year pipeline
They've
in our
got
history.
to mention GTA 6 at some point.
Turning to our recent releases and announced games in development. On February 11th, 2K and Firaxis Games will launch Sid Meier's Civilization 7, the highly anticipated revolutionary new chapter in our epic 4X strategy game franchise.
Is the live stream lagging?
2K has been promoting the title across many key activations, including a developer panel at PAX West and PAX Australia, various community live streams, a first look video series, and developer diaries. Firaxis recently revealed details about their partnership with the Shawnee tribe, featuring leader Tecumseh, who appears as a playable character. We can't wait for Civ fans around the world to take one more turn and enjoy what promises to be the best title in the series' 33-year history. Later this fiscal year, Visual Concepts will launch WWE 2K25, which promises to take our successful pro wrestling franchise to new heights. 2K will have more to share about the game in coming months. Looking ahead, we expect fiscal 2026 to be a milestone year as we plan to release several blockbuster titles, including Rockstar Games' Grand Theft Auto 6 in the fall of 2025,
still 425,
Borderlands 4, and Mafia: The Old Country.
Yeah.
The latter two were unveiled by 2K this past summer at Gamescom,
not delayed
with each
as
announcement
of yet.
featuring a game trailer that received a tremendous reception from their dedicated communities of fans. Rockstar Games also plans to bring the much-requested PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series features of GTA Online to the PC platform in the new year. In addition, we recently made the strategic decision to sell our private division label to focus our resources on growing our core and mobile businesses for the long term. As part of this transaction, the buyer purchased our rights to substantially all of Private Division's live and unreleased titles. Take-Two will continue to support No Rest for the Wicked, which launched in early access on PC in April. We are grateful for the contributions that Private Division team has made to our company,
we're talk about some
and are confident that they will
that
continue to achieve success in their new home. In closing, our teams are hard at work on the strongest and most diverse lineup in our company's history. As we deliver exciting new hits and pursue new business opportunities, we believe that we will achieve sustainable, profitable growth and shareholder returns. I'll now turn the call over to Lainey.
Thanks, Carl. Good afternoon, everyone. We achieved another consecutive quarter of strong results led by our diversified portfolio of industry-leading intellectual properties. During the period, we delivered exciting new offerings and continued to make great progress advancing our development pipeline,
there's a
which
few reasons for
reinforces
that,
our
and I'll talk
confidence
about that in a bit.
in our outlook for this year and our multi-year growth trajectory. I'd like to thank our teams for their consistent execution and unwavering focus on creativity, innovation, and efficiency. Turning to our results, we delivered second quarter net bookings of $1.47 billion, which was at the top of our guidance range of $1.42 to $1.47 billion, driven by the strength of the Grand Theft Auto and Borderlands franchises. Recurrent consumer spending rose 6% for the period, which was slightly above our guidance of 5%, and accounted for 81% of net bookings. Mobile increased high single digits, driven by the addition
now
of
they're talking about mobile. Let me just mention
strong growth in Toon Blast, which was partially
if there's going to be a
offset by
delay, they
declines
won't
in our
announce it until
hyper-casual
May next
mobile
year.
portfolio and Empires and Puzzles. NBA 2K grew low single digits, while Grand Theft Auto Online was relatively flat. During the quarter, we launched NBA 2K25 and Game of Thrones Legends. GAAP net revenue increased 4% to $1.35 billion, while cost of revenue declined 29% to $625 million, as the prior year included an impairment charge related to acquired intangibles. Operating expenses increased by 7% to $1 billion. On a management basis, operating expenses rose 24% year over year. This was favorable to our forecast, largely due to a shift in timing of marketing expense within the year and drove operating results
They're
that were
explaining why
above
they're
our
losing
prior
money.
guidance range. Turning to our guidance, I'll begin with our full fiscal year expectations. Our business is performing well, and as Strauss mentioned, we are reiterating our net bookings outlook range of $5.55 to $5.65 billion, which represents 5% growth over fiscal 2024. The largest contributors to net bookings are expected to be NBA 2K, the Grand Theft Auto series, Toon Blast, our hyper-casual mobile portfolio,
Okay.
Match Factory, Empires and
She said the
Puzzles,
thing.
the Red Dead Redemption series, Sid Meier's Civilization VII, and Words with Friends. We now expect recurrent consumer spending to grow approximately 4%, representing 78% of net bookings. This is up slightly from our prior forecast of 3%, driven by NBA 2K. Our recurrent consumer spending forecast continues to assume a high single-digit increase for mobile, driven by Match Factory and Toon Blast, partially offset by declines in our hyper-casual mobile portfolio and
I still
Empires
think
and
it's going to be
Puzzles.
delayed.
NBA 2K
I'll
is
explain
expected
why
to
in a
grow
bit.
low single digits, which is up from our prior forecast of flat, while Grand Theft Auto Online is still expected to decline. We project the net bookings breakdown from our labels to be roughly 51% Zynga, 32% 2K, and 17% Rockstar Games.
Only
And we
17%?
forecast our geographic net
Even with
booking
GTA
split
6?
to be about 60% United States
How much is
and
Zynga making?
40% international. Non-GAAP adjusted unrestricted operating cash flow is expected to be an outflow of $150 million, which is unchanged from our prior forecast, and we remain on track to deploy approximately $140 million of capital expenditures, primarily for game technology and office build-outs. We continue to expect GAAP net revenue to range from $5.57
So I would pause
to
it to talk, but you
$5.67
can't
billion,
pause the stream like the
while we
last
now
one.
expect cost of revenue to range from $2.4 to $2.42 billion. Total operating expenses are now expected to range from $3.77 to $3.79 billion as compared to $5.83 billion last year. On a management
30%
basis, we
increase in
continue to
spending.
expect operating expense growth of approximately 10% year over year. This is largely due to an increase in ongoing marketing support for Match Factory, as well as other mobile and immersive core launches planned for the year. The addition of Gearbox and higher personnel costs, partially offset by savings from our cost reduction program. Excluding incremental marketing and the addition of Gearbox, our operating expenses are expected to grow low single digits over last year. Now moving on to our guidance for the fiscal third quarter.
Right,
We
this is
project
what I'm
net bookings
interested
to
in.
range from $1.35 to $1.4 billion compared to $1.34 billion in the prior year. Our
Pre-orders
release
won't be
slate for the
opening.
quarter includes Red Dead Redemption and Undead Nightmare for PC, which launched last week. The largest contributors to net bookings are expected to be NBA 2K, the Grand Theft Auto series, Toon Blast, our hyper-casual mobile portfolio, Match Factory, Empires and Puzzles.
Just turn it down for a second.
Red Dead
We won't be getting
Redemption
pre-orders
series,
before
Words
Christmas.
with Friends, and Merged Dragons. We project recurrent consumer spending to increase by approximately 9%, which assumes a low double-digit increase for mobile, driven by the addition of Match Factory and growth in Toon Blast, partially offset by declines in our hyper-casual mobile portfolio and Empires and Puzzles. We expect an increase for NBA 2K and a decline for Grand Theft Auto Online. We expect GAAP net revenue to range from $1.36 to $1.41 billion. Operating expenses are planned to range from $913 to $923 million. On a management basis, operating expenses are expected to grow by approximately 11% year over year, which is primarily driven by additional marketing for Match Factory and the addition of Gearbox, partially offset by savings from our cost reduction program. In closing, there are many exciting upcoming catalysts that we believe will enable our company to achieve new record levels of net bookings performance. As we expand our product offerings and grow our scale, we expect to deliver strong operating leverage and robust shareholder value. I'd like to thank you all for your support and look forward to sharing more details on our groundbreaking pipeline in the coming months. Thank you. I'll now turn the call back to Strauss.
I've just put it to
Thanks,
subscribers
Lainey and
can
Carl.
chat
On
just to
behalf
slow
of
down
our
the chat a
entire
little bit.
management team, I'd like to thank our colleagues for delivering another consecutive quarter of outstanding results that embody our core tenets of creativity, innovation, and efficiency. To our shareholders, I want to express our appreciation for your continued support. We'll now take your questions. Operator?
So this is
Thank
where
you.
stuff
Ladies
gets good.
and gentlemen, at this time, if you would like to ask a question, please press star 1. And if you find your question has already been addressed, you may press star 2 to remove yourself from the queue. We'll go first this afternoon to Doug Krutz at TD Cowen.
Hey, thank you. Back in May, you had talked about having 7 core titles for the year, and we've got about 5 months to go, and I think we've got line of sight on 4 that have either been already launched or we have clear dates on. Those other 3, are they still in the software lineup for the year, or perhaps have they been moved out, and what kind of impact does that have on your overall guidance?
Our labels will provide more detail on the upcoming titles when they're ready to do so. Also, keep in mind that while we provided our pipeline expectations for fiscal 25 in May, we do not update our release expectations unless there's a financial reason to do so.
Okay, fair enough.
Thank you. We'll go next now to Eric Handler of Roth Capital.
Good afternoon. Thanks for the question. I wonder if you could focus in on mobile a little bit. How much of the growth do you say is, specific?
Well, whilst we're talking about mobile, let's just talk about a few things there. So I believe that it could still very well get delayed. All of the announcements for delays have come towards the start of the next fiscal year or fiscal segment. So for us, if we're going to get a delay in GTA 6, we won't know about it until May. Potentially, we'll know about it in April.
We're obviously really excited about the performance of Match Factory and also Toon Blast as well. And we are seeing that's contributed significantly to our growth in the mobile space. It's not the only contributor, but it is certainly a big part of it at this point. In terms of the mobile industry, we're feeling pretty sanguine about things right now. One of the things that we appreciate the most is that consumers are actually rewarding people for taking risks and releasing new titles that are compelling and engaging. And we're fortunate enough to have one of those titles, if not more than one. And we're really excited about new titles that are coming out. Some that we've announced and some that we haven't. We always say that new IP is the lifeblood of the industry, and I think our commitment to investing in new IP is really serving us well. So I would say that's the biggest change in the mobile industry over the last couple of years, and it's not just with us; it's also across the entire industry as well. We've seen some other big hits in the market. It's very gratifying to see that at this point. What was the last part of the question? I think there was something at the end you asked, Eric. What was that?
No, it was just about what you're seeing and how you're seeing the industry in general. What if you just talk about your thoughts on mobile advertising and
right, it's not
with user acquisition.
Let me just reduce the volume of this while we're talking about mobile. So yeah, like I said before, if GTA 6 is going to be delayed, it's going to be announced in May of next year. That's when they have to give their predictions for the next financial year. That's the most likely period for a delay.
Talking about on the customer acquisition side, not on the
and to be fair,
monetization
people
side,
can
correct?
ask about GTA. People have before.
Yeah. So
It just all
we've
depends how they
always
answer
used
it.
more
They can say
internally,
GTA
so
6 and they can
working with
talk
third
about
parties is
GTA.
something that
They just don't want to ruin the
have done and will continue to do
anticipation
in
that
the future.
Rockstar's built up.
We would never rely just on one. We like to spread our business across several. So it's not just one specific strategy. It's a combination of both, including also our enormous internal database. We are, I would say, a little bit less reliant on third parties than some other of our competitors, just based on the fact that we've got such a broad portfolio of mobile games and such an enormous database across all of those games.
Thank you.
Thank you. We go next now to Colin Sebastian at Baird.
Thanks. Good afternoon. I guess a couple of high-level questions for me as well. We've been seeing this trend towards consolidating market share among a fewer number of publishers.
It's the most corporate app ever, isn't it?
Obviously, including Take-Two.
If I did videos like this, you guys
there
would
are
like
structural shifts underway
unsubscribe.
in the industry in terms of cost of game development, maybe even changing distribution. So I'd be curious to hear maybe your thoughts if those forces could perhaps unlock more development, more new IP, or is it more about optimizing what you already have in terms of core franchises?
Look, this business is beginning to mature, and emphasis on the beginning.
So
this is still going to be
I will
the fastest
talk a bit
growing
more
part of the
about
entertainment business for
what's happening in the call
some
after.
time to
It won't
come.
actually let me pause it.
But
I
in
know
the
you
early
guys are here to
stages
hear
of
the call.
maturation, it
You
shouldn't
can stick around
be
after if you want to
surprising
hear me
first that
dissect it.
quality standards increase. Consumers always want higher quality products, and that the big and good get bigger and better, and the bad and small get worse and smaller. And that's just the history of the entertainment business. We're obviously proud of how we've done, and we have grown meaningfully in the past 18 years, mostly organically until the acquisition of Zynga in 2022. And obviously that was a big inorganic step forward as
It
well.
doesn't mean no
Today
trailer
we
for
find
2022.
ourselves the number 2 pure
24
play in the
December,
industry
but
worldwide.
it does mean
We
no
think we're
pre-orders
incredibly
this year.
well positioned going forward. First, because of our strategy of trying to be the most creative, innovative, and efficient company in the entertainment business. And secondly, because we have this extraordinarily diverse portfolio that covers all bases in the interactive entertainment industry, driven by owned intellectual property. In fact, we're pretty sure we have the best collection of owned intellectual property in the business. We think that's a recipe for success. If we get it right, our earnings power should enable us to grow further. And what we've always said is we've used our capital first to support organic growth. Secondly,
people are already
selectively to
boycotting
support
GT
accretive
Online.
inorganic
That's why
growth.
it's
And
making a
third,
loss at the moment.
to
Not a
return
loss, but losing
capital
money
to
overall.
the shareholders on favorable terms. And I expect that we'll continue to try to do that. Does that mean life gets harder?
This
Yes,
is live
it's harder
right
and
now.
harder to make big hits. And we're so grateful to our creative teams because that's exactly what they focus on every day. We get to do the easy stuff like talk to you all. They have to do the hard stuff, which is make the hits that drive this industry. That gets harder all the time, but it's a challenge that we accept with enthusiasm, because it's what drives all of us, even those of us around this table who don't actually make video games.
The fact they call it video games is so cringe.
That's our focus. That's the purpose of this enterprise. The purpose of the enterprise is to serve consumers with the best possible entertainment. Will that become harder, more complex, more expensive despite advances in technology, notably generative AI? Yes, that's the history of the entertainment business. But if you get it right, the opportunity is extraordinary, and we're trying really hard to get it right.
Come on, someone ask about
That's
GTA 6.
Very helpful perspective. Thanks, Strauss. One quick housekeeping question. The improvement in GTA performance versus being down in Q1, is that timing around the summer or I guess late summer release packs, or is that sort of more of a broad-based improvement?
I think it's more broad-based. The title has been doing extremely well. The engagement is there and strong. We're seeing that coming out of Q2, and we expect to see that through the rest of the year.
Great. Thanks, Lainey.
Thank you. We go next now to Andrew Merrick of Raymond James.
Thanks for taking my questions. We see a lot of content now coming in fiscal 26 with the announcement of Mafia and Borderlands in addition to GTA 6. So with the commentary about record net bookings results in fiscal 26 and 27, just wondering if there's any sort of color or visibility you can give into kind of those assumptions built into 27 to see growth off of what's already quite a busy content slate in 26.
So let me get this straight. This used to be a company where we didn't mention anything till 4 months before release, and now now I'm being asked. I don't understand why can't I have some insight into fiscal 2027? I mean, I don't even remember what I had for breakfast this morning. So I think the answer is we're really excited about the pipeline, and by giving the color that we've given on fiscal 27, we're making the point that this pipeline is going to be robust and is going to be durable. And, we take those statements seriously. But no, on this call, I will not be announcing our pipeline for more than 2.5 years from now.
Well, much appreciated. But maybe a smaller question that can get a little bit more granular in the near term here.
Just so I can't answer.
Saw the addition of that paid gravity ball mode in NBA 2K this year. Seems like a little bit of a new offering, maybe bigger than a microtransaction, but smaller than an expansion or a DLC. With what you've seen in Gravity Ball so far, how are you thinking about that sort of paid game mode concept in other franchises across the portfolio? Thank you.
I mentioned our 3-part strategy, and the middle part being innovation, and I'm really proud that Visual Concepts in 2K decided to innovate with Gravity Ball. Both
innovation, guys. Let it
creatively,
stick.
and then secondarily as a matter of business model. And we've already learned a lot. It's a great little mini game. It's really terrific, and I think consumers really like it. It's too early to say
Innovate.
that, okay, our future is paid mini games inside, bigger platform type games. But I think it's a reflection of the fact that our creative teams are open-minded and are willing to try new things and aren't being precious about, the IP that they create. To the contrary, they know consumers want to have fun with it, and so they equally need to have fun with it. So it's an exciting development, probably too early to call it a trend.
That was such a dodge of anything
Thank you. We
relevant.
go next now to Corey Carpenter with JP Morgan.
JP Morgan. These are some big
Good afternoon. Thanks
investors.
for the question. Hoping you could elaborate a bit on your decision to sell private division. And then, Laney, for you, if there's any color you can give us in terms of how you expect this to impact the P&L. Thank you.
Look, it's always hard to part with friends and colleagues. That's actually the hardest thing that we have to do occasionally. And we're really impressed with what Michael Warris and the team built at Private Division. They brought on board and launched a number of titles over the past several years.
I remember this.
And virtually all of them worked out, and a couple of them were pretty big breakouts. At the same time, it became clear that our thesis, which is work with independent developers, bring them into this independently minded division, and perhaps create new, huge, durable intellectual properties for the company, was going to be challenging at best, because the titles, though big, were not big in the context of our core intellectual properties at 2K and Rockstar. And our job really is to focus on making the biggest and best hits for the marketplace. We don't, we're not the long tail company. We are top 10 hit makers around here. That's who we are on the console side.
Oh, God, it's
That's
so
who
cringe.
we are on the mobile side.
Subscribe
and that is
if that was cringe.
Of any mature entertainment business, being a top 10 player. Those are the companies that matter. Those are the companies that grow. Those are the companies with operating margins. So that's what we need to focus on. That became clear. We're really thrilled that we found a great home for Private Division.
Next question, go on.
Thank you. And Laney, any comments on potential P&L impacts from that?
Sure. So the P&L impact this year is immaterial to the bottom line. There's a little bit of effect on the net bookings, but we were able to offset that by the strength of the NBA franchise.
When they quit yapping, I'll give you my thoughts on what's going to happen with the timeline of GTA 6.
Ed Alter at Jefferies.
Hi, thanks for taking my question. NBA 2K this year got significantly better reviews.
Who here actually cares about NBA 2K?
But I heard you guys say it looks like it sold 4.5 million, which was flat year over year. How does, for an annual title like that, how does higher review scores translate to sales in RCS in your view?
P&L impact.
Well, I agree. It's nice that you noticed the higher review scores, and the team at Visual Concepts and 2K worked very hard to put improvements into the game, not only bringing new modes and new opportunities and new content to the game, but also bringing back some beloved modes that were not in previous editions. So they did work very hard to make sure that they delivered the most engaging experience. And we're seeing that. Engagement on a player basis is up significantly over the last game, as well as RCS, recurrent consumer spending. And that's a reflection of when people get into the game, they love it, they engage, and ultimately that leads to monetization. So I think really the reflection on the scores is a reflection of engagement, and that's what we're seeing, and we are seeing those economic improvements. In terms of sort of unit sale comparisons, et cetera, it's easy to focus on those things, but we also have, obviously bringing the game to the Gen 9 on the PC had a significant positive impact for us on the PC version. But we still are dealing with the dynamic of the Gen 9 console business is certainly growing, but we're still being hurt, not at the same rate as the Gen 8 is declining. We obviously expect that that's going to reverse at one point in the future as Gen 9 continues to take a foothold and people have more and more reasons to move from Gen 8 to Gen 9.
George Kent, how you doing?
Yeah, great, thanks. And just on the hybrid casual games, it looks like they're doing incredible. How much of that is from kind of direct
revenue that was in the ads monetization strategy, and how much of that is incremental from this new strategy on hyper casual in-app purchases?
I
So it's
hate
both,
that.
and we have said before that
Right, so they
there's two
keep
things
talking
that go
about
on
hyper casual
hyper
in-app
casual.
purchases. What that basically means
One, where
is
obviously we have
how
been
easily can we
focused on
take money from people?
profitability, and that's been
I
putting
hate
downward
it
pressure
when
on
it's
revenues
phrased
in
like that.
general. But the other component is on this business has traditionally been almost 100% advertising. That's not the case anymore. We've got games. Screw Jam is a perfect example of games where we're actually having significant success doing in-app purchases, and that's a reflection of the fact that these games are lasting for a longer period of time and they're more engaging than they have in the past. So whether it's in-app purchase or advertising, we're sort of indifferent. We'll take the revenue any way that we can get it.
Really good
But what you're
answers
really seeing
when
is
they're
a
not asked about
combination of
GTA
both.
6. When they're asked about
And again,
GTA
that
6,
varies
they
game by
forget how to
game. Not every
English.
game is going to have in-app purchases, but more and more you see that happening.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you. We go next now to Benjamin Soff at Deutsche Bank.
How's
Hey
it going?
guys, thanks for the question. I wanted to ask about Borderlands. Excuse me. Can you please break out the contribution from the film?
Hey guys, I want to ask about the
The
Borderlands.
film, and would you expect to maybe look at doing that
That was
a
full
little bit more in
Cartman.
the future, bringing more of your IP to movies or shows? And then for Lainey, I wanted to ask about the shift in timing for marketing expenses. Is there anything you can add as far as color there? Thanks.
Thanks for your question. With regard to Borderlands, we don't really need to break out the contribution from the film because while it was economically positive, it wasn't material to our results. Even though the film was disappointing, it actually benefited our catalog sales. So that is a sign that making a movie or a television show based on our very high quality IP can drive catalog sales, and that can be a good thing. All that said, we're really selective. And one of the reasons
You just know,
we
like,
have
at the end of the phone, there's a guy with a gun to the
licensing
head
is
saying,
we
you
would
say GTA
prefer that
6,
everything
the
that,
dog gets it.
comes out with our brands in it is really, really successful. And we can't guarantee that, especially when it's out of our hands. So we have licensed other titles. We'll continue selectively to do so, but emphasis on the word selectively.
And the marketing expenses in Q2 that moved out due to timing, it was a combination of some of our released titles and some unreleased titles, but all within the year.
Got it. Thanks.
We'll go next now to Mike Hickey of Benchmark.
Mike Hickey. McTannon, how's it going, man?
It's Charles Carl.
We've got McTannon in the chat. We've got Bogan Bath. We've got Bailey Points.
Just curious on the new consoles coming to the market. We've got the PS5 Pro and the Switch 2.
Interesting.
Just broadly speaking, wondering your thoughts there, and if you see a commercial opportunity, I guess, from some of your catalog games, whether it's enhanced or special edition.
Why does dude sound like he's just done an 8?
Do you think the Switch 2 is a more viable platform than what we had with the Switch 1 for your game portfolio?
Grand Theft Schizophrenia.
Yeah, we don't tend to comment meaningfully on the decisions of the hardware makers, except to say that successful platforms benefit the business, and we support successful platforms. We're happy to do so. We don't have any product announcements to make. We don't make those announcements on these calls, as you know, Mike. And with regard to Switch, my view is never count Nintendo out.
Fair enough. I guess the next question on Project Ethos, you got some feedback from the market. Curious how you're sort of taking that feedback and thinking about maybe reshaping or the impact it's had on development of that game and maybe the release timing. Thanks, guys.
Look, I couldn't be more proud than I am of the team at 31st Union and what they brought to market. And consumers embraced Ethos and really enjoyed the playtest, and we were thrilled to see it in market. The whole point of a playtest is to get feedback and to engage the community in helping us make the best possible experience. And I know Michael Condrey and the whole team were enthused about that feedback and found it really, really useful. So we're off to a great start, and there's more to come.
Thing is, I'm interested to see how these
Nice. Thanks, guys. Good luck.
the reduction in revenue for GT
Thank you.
Online,
We go
how
next
that
now
plays
to
out for the
Arthur
next 12
Chu
months.
of Bank of America.
Hey guys, this is Arthur Uncle Omar. Thanks for taking the question. So it's good to see double-digit growth in average revenue per gamer for NBA. Would you expect the improvement in average monetization to be a greater driver of future growth for this particular franchise as compared to, for example, user growth? And I guess how should we think about some of the different drivers of monetization improvements going forward?
Right, so this is interesting. This is how they're potentially going to
Look, we're
monetize
optimistic
GTA 6.
about user growth as well as spending per user, and they're driven by the same thing, which is quality. So, the quality of the game, the quality of the in-game experiences that lead to recurrent consumer spending. As big as this title has been, we still think there's a whole lot more ground to cover, and the NBA is making big strides internationally, and obviously made new broadcast deals that are very robust. There's every reason to believe that this is a huge growth business going forward, and we're thrilled to be in business with the NBA.
How did they just
and
answer the
NBA
question
Players
without answering the
Association.
question?
They're superb partners and support us all the time, to the best of their abilities and then some. And we see the results.
They really are
We keep
tiptoeing
making
around the
a better
question,
and better
around
game every
GTA.
year, and the team at Visual
I
Concepts
mean, I
is
get
trying
why,
to
and we'll
do
talk a bit
just
more
that.
about that
And we'll be
after the call.
rewarded with a bigger footprint, and within that footprint, bigger engagement, and that will lead to more profitable revenue.
Got it. Perfect. Thanks a lot, guys.
We'll go next now to Eric Sheridan of Goldman Sachs.
Thanks so much for
These
taking
are
the
some
questions.
big banks.
Maybe two, if I could. First, just following up on the last question, and obviously, moving beyond just NBA broadly, any updated views about the way you're thinking about the intersection between sports and gaming as a long-term opportunity, and that whether that would be an area for incremental capital and incremental investment in the business to grow the IP portfolio over the longer term based on what you were seeing in the market? And then I know we spoke earlier on the call about the consumer landscape, but in the last year, we've spoken about whether the consumer was receptive or not to new IP as opposed to legacy IP. Have you seen any shifts in consumer behavior with respect to openness to experiment with newer titles as opposed to more legacy titles that might inform some of how you position IP going forward? Thanks.
I want to make sure I understood your first question. You were asking whether you think there's an opportunity for us to grow our...
Right, so let's just ignore the first question for a second. The premise here is it worth continuing to release the same titles, the same intellectual properties?
And the answer is because the biggest sports
and does this mean that some of Take-Two Interactive's businesses will introduce new games in the future?
And we do have other sports entertainment titles. For example, WWE, which is a really important title for us. We have our golf game, which is a phenomenal game.
By the way, you won't. I know you guys saying to join the call. You can only join the call if you're one of the big investor banks. Like Joe Blogs at Home, me and you, we can't join the call in terms of asking questions.
Competitive space, and we're very respectful of how hard it is to compete in those areas, as people are where we dominate. So I think there's some selective opportunity, but the footprint is big enough now, and the growth opportunities are great enough now.
We need a pirate game
that even working on what we have gives us plenty to do, with plenty of opportunity, leavened by great optimism. In terms of your question about new intellectual property, we're different than a lot of other big companies. It's tempting for a big company to rest on its laurels. We have a lot of intellectual property. We know that if we put out a sequel, it's a lower risk proposition than new intellectual property. But everything degrades, and even though most of our franchise sequels tend to do better than the prior release, and we're really proud of that because that's not standard for the industry. The truth is, there is this thing called decay and entropy, and it's a feature of physics and human life and everything that exists on Earth. And so ultimately everything...
Very quickly, 2 seconds. If everyone hits subscribe right now, there's a chance I could reach 20K by the end of this earnings call.
We're to say that we're resting on our laurels really understates it. We're really running the risk of burning the furniture to heat the house, and
bring back
that
table
doesn't
tennis.
end well. So we do it, even though it doesn't always succeed. The good news is, like, frankly, our hit ratios are really high for this industry. And they're also high in mobile, thanks to our mobile team, led by Frank Jabot. And the recent hits in our mobile division are pretty stellar. So, we have Match Factory from Peak. Toon Blast is not new, but it's a huge sort of revitalized success also from Peak. And then many other titles. A great success with Top 11 from Nordeus, and with Screwjam from Rollick. So, we have teams delivering new hits all the time in mobile and in console. We're really proud of that. It does mean the risk profile is higher. It does mean that when we get it wrong, and we will get it wrong now and then, we take a hit, and that affects our operating margins. But in the fullness of time, it's one of the key ways to create durable value. And to be clear, if we have not been willing to create new intellectual property, when we showed up here 18 years ago, when the risk profile of this enterprise was vastly greater than it is today, well, then none of us would be sitting here today.
There is some GTA 6 stuff to take away from this. But like I said, after the call, we'll go through it.
Thank you.
Thank you. We go next now to Clay Griffin with MoffettNathanson.
Great. Good afternoon. Thanks for taking the question. I'm curious, you guys are talking about how Gen 8 has been sort of pro and con in the sense that it's a long-lived installed base, but harder to execute on some of the things that your teams want to do. And I'm curious, as we roll the tape forward into fiscal 26 and 27, when some of your key marquee properties are coming out, which I'm sure will be groundbreaking in many respects. Curious if the
try not to say
bifurcation of the
GTA 6
Xbox
challenge.
platform it becomes a challenge, and what the teams are doing to deal with that.
You mean a challenge because Xbox isn't performing as well as PlayStation? Just so I can understand the question.
Is it? Is it not?
Well, just that Series S is by design a lower spec console, and presumably GTA 6 will push a lot of boundaries technically, I would suspect.
Yeah, look, we support the platforms where the consumers are for as long as they're there, and we find a way to support platforms despite different levels of tech. Our labels are really good at that. I'm not really worried. I've never worried about where hardware was going, and I've said this many times.
The thing is they're asking development-based
because, first of
questions
all, I don't
to
worry
business
about things
people,
over
and
which
it's
I
not
have
their
zero
forte.
control.
It's not
And
their
secondly,
forte
because
at
I
all.
do believe in the audience. The audience is going to show up if you have great properties. And so we just have to make sure to be on an array of platforms. And if one platform diminishes in value, there's always another one. So we're seeing great growth in PC right now, for example.
No, I didn't find the
And I
control
have
of
been
the
of the
LED. Sorry.
view that open formats would continue to grow. PC is an open format. I do think PC will continue to be a more and more important part of the console business going forward. And that isn't complicated for us to support at all. So the bottom line is we are selective about which platforms we support. We make the tech work when we can make it work, as long as the audience is big enough to make that worthwhile.
That makes sense. And to that end, I guess, Strauss, maybe update us on the possibility. I know it's a U.S. jurisdictional issue only and a limited basis, but just kind of what you're seeing on the Android side from kind of a proper capable third-party app store development, what that might look like over the next couple of years.
I'm sorry, I want to make sure I understand. You're talking about take rates, or are you talking about the economics, or are you talking about the tech?
All of the above. Just your initial thoughts about the potential of having a more vibrant third-party alternative app store on Android, even though
that would be good news for us. We support virtually all retailers. We are not beholden only to our own outlets, although we do have our own outlets, and that's proven for mobile to be very effective indeed as margin building. But we support all comers. We want to be where the consumer is. And on the economic side,
you're quite right, boss,
I have been a believer that take rates, distribution costs will continue to decline. There's a lot of evidence that will be the case. We're not counting on it. It's not
That's
our numbers.
Strauss Zelnick talking now to a bank that have asked a question.
Great, thanks.
We go next now to Chris Scholl at UBS.
Great, thank you. Lainey, using the midpoint of your guidance range, I believe implies an acceleration in bookings growth in fiscal 4Q. Can you just help us think through the drivers there? I recognize Civilization is launching, but any other drivers you're willing to flag at this stage? And then Strauss, Netflix called out that they learned how big existing games like Grand Theft Auto can be on the platform. Now that you've had some time to digest, what learnings do you take away from that partnership?
The remasters.
And recognize the deal
they
is small
went well.
overall, but do you see the opportunity to scale such efforts and license other IP going forward? Thanks.
So for Q4, yes, you're right. We have Civ 7 releasing. We also have our PGA title releasing in the quarter, and our WWE title. And last year we only had our WWE title, so that's a big difference between this year and last year. And it's also a reason why we have more new releases in Q4, which is why there's a bigger quarter in Q4 than Q3.
Sorry, what was the
Thank you.
second question? If you don't mind repeating the second question.
Sure. Netflix called out that they learned how big existing games like Grand Theft Auto can be. Now that you've had some time to digest,
just forget the question.
Do you see the opportunity to scale these efforts, and what plans do you have for maybe other IP and licensing in similar ways?
You can't put.
So we've shown a willingness to license to many other platforms, both because we thought they were good businesses, or because they were friends and we wanted to support them, or because we thought it was an interesting experiment. And we wouldn't talk publicly about upcoming deals until they're ready to be announced, and then typically they would, of course, be announced by our labels. But we think very, very highly of Netflix. We value the relationship with them greatly. I think it is pretty important for them to offer a robust array of audiovisual entertainment to their subscribers, and that by definition has to include interactive entertainment. And we think, we have the best collection of owned intellectual property in the business. So no surprise that we're in business with them. We hope to do more business with them.
Hey, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And seeing as there's no further questions at this time, Mr. Zelnick, I'd like to turn things back to you, sir, for any closing comments.
Well, let Strauss close out.
I want to
go
thank
through
our
everything GTA
creative
6.
colleagues at our labels who
everything
made the
GTA
hits
6
that
in
we
this
have
call,
the
we are going to go
great
through.
pleasure of
There is
talking
actually
about and
a bit
meeting
we can take
like
away.
this. I want to thank all of our publishing folks who do a great job at marketing, our distribution team, which is unparalleled, and of course our corporate team who's represented.
Any mention of Rockstar?
Who's represented here today. We're thrilled with our results, but we know that this is just the beginning of an amazing few years ahead of us. And, and we're excited to be able to share that news with you today. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for your support. And
right, cool. Let's leave the call. Right, let me just go through what we know. Let me put some background music back on, and then we'll get into the meat and veg of what we've just heard during this earnings call, because there's actually a bit there. A lot of things were skirting around the edge. So first things first, they're saying that GTA 6 is still on track for fall 2025. And our fall 2025 is, where we thought it was going to be based on the earnings call that they had 2 months ago, where they said fall 2025. However, and this is a very big however, they would never, ever, ever announce a delay now. It is far too early to announce a delay for GTA 6. Even if it's internally delayed, even if everyone knows it's delayed, whatever, it's too early for them to make an official statement about the game being delayed. With every previous Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead Redemption, it's always been about 6 months to 9 months out. So that's when they usually announce delays. So the truth is, we don't know. But yeah, there's a few more things I want to go into as well. But firstly, please tap subscribe if you haven't already. My live streams, I go through everyone's questions for GTA stuff. Yeah, so stick around for other live streams in the future if you do enjoy them. But yeah, the general consensus that I got from that call is they're trying to basically maintain share price. They're saying everything's perfect, everything's as it is, but it's the same as what we heard on the last earnings call in regards to GTA Online. They're currently losing revenue on GTA Online. They are losing money on it. Not losing in the sense of they're not profiting, but every month they're making less revenue from GTA Online. And the reason why this is important is because I'm not saying that we should boycott GT Online, because to be honest, the money that's gone into GT Online has helped them fund GTA 6. And we have to look at it quite realistically, in the sense that without GT Online, GTA 6 probably won't be anywhere near as big as it's going to be. But at the same time, I feel like they're losing, because they're losing money in online, they're losing potential market share, which they could be capitalizing in now. They could be using Trailer 2 as a way to bring people into the GTA ecosystem. And this constant decline ever since Trailer 1, I'm not sure if the introduction of GTA 6 into the equation has maybe pushed people away from GT Online. In my opinion, I thought it would bring people back in, but clearly that's not happened. So I'm keen to see what happens. Now, the other thing that they mentioned is they're not expecting any revenue growth beyond the normal revenue growth they have in the next quarter, so the next 3 months. So between now and the end of January, that's very likely to mean that we're not going to get pre-orders. However, there's also a caveat to that, in the sense that sometimes pre-orders, they don't count the revenue from the pre-orders until the end of the fiscal year, or the game's actually released. Sometimes pre-order volume isn't included until until the game's released and the money leaves people's bank accounts. So in terms of the pre-orders and collector's editions, they won't be dropping in the next quarter, in the next 3 months. We're not going to be seeing a GTA 6 pre-order in Trailer 2. So that means that probably if Trailer 2 does come out in December, it won't be alongside a pre-order. If Trailer 2 does come out with a pre-order, it won't be in December. So yeah, I mean, does anyone have any questions about the owner's call? Pop them in the chat, and I'm going to go through chat now, and we're going to try and address some of them and try and clear the air, because there was a few bits of key information in there. Obviously, a lot of the call was about mobile, but like they said in the call, Rockstar Games accounts for 17% of their earnings. For them, the biggest market sector is things like Zynga, that they make CSR 2 and all these other games that do large volume. Pre-orders summer 25. I think pre-orders could be somewhere around like May next year. I think, 3 months in advance, 4 months in advance is a valid thing for people to think. Let's have a look. Why doesn't anyone dare to ask about GTA 6? It's not about daring to ask about GTA 6. You've got to remember, the people calling in aren't me or you sat at home. They're people that own investor portfolios, and they work for big banks like JP Morgan and Chase, Bank of America. These people are interested in what makes the most amount of money for Rockstar, and it isn't GTA. It just isn't. Like, Rockstar account for 17% of Take-Two's earnings. Like, they're interested in the franchises like Zynga that make the majority of the share price increase. Now, when GTA 6 comes out, maybe, but it's not in the pipeline to come out in the next 3 months. So that's why they're not overly worried about it. What if we don't get a trailer this year? Well, then we just don't get a trailer this year. I'm surprised that Xbox is losing sales. To be honest, I think it's primarily down to the fact that no matter what happens, PlayStation always retains market dominance. I don't know why. I don't understand it. I wish I did understand it. But for some reason, PlayStation always have a comeback and retain market dominance. How soon should we expect more news like trailer, screenshots, etc.? I think the most realistic time frame to expect more news of some sort is December, but I don't think that will be pre-orders. I don't see that being the case. Let's have a look. I had a Zynga earlier. Got to the box meal, couple wings. Oh, what a vibe. Zynga box meal. I wonder how much money you'd have to spend to make it into the investor call. If you're in the Take-Two investor call, your investor portfolio is most likely going to have to be in the tens of thousands minimum, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions. Did they tell us anything about Trailer 2? No. Thank you for the super chat, by the way, but no, they didn't tell us anything about Trailer 2. Nothing at all. Is there a possibility GTA 6 Trailer 2 be at the Game Awards? I personally don't think they'll do it at the Game Awards, and the main reason I say that is that Rockstar are bigger than the Game Awards. And also, imagine turning up to the Game Awards with Trailer 2. Like, that would just put a damper on everyone else's mood and game. Jonathan says, gut feeling tells me we can get Trailer 2 sometime during the first 4 months of next year. It's a possibility for sure. I think that's too late. Usually there's 5 trailers leading up to release. You know, leaving it like to maybe the 4th month of next year is a bit late. But then again, Rockstar have done a lot of unorthodox things during this process. Could the Trailer 2 date still be announced in a couple of hours like last year? No, I don't. I think the chance of it being announced today is impossible. It's 10:30 p.m. in the UK, and a lot of the announcements are made to work with time zones in the UK and the US. Nekra, hopefully you have a lovely sleep. Thank you for joining us during the stream. Do I think Donald Trump's victory will affect GTA 6? I think it will play into the humour. I mean, Sam Houser made a statement that he was glad to not release GTA 6 during Trump's presidency. But yeah, we're not going to get into like politics and stuff in this, you know. Let's avoid it. Let's avoid it. Luke, how are you doing? What did you miss? And once again, guys, if you have found this insightful, me breaking it down, sorry there wasn't much talking as well. I wanted you guys to be able to listen to the earnings call. I hate it when you go to do it. Like, you go to listen to something like this and some guys just yapping over the top of it. So I tried to add some bits during the earnings call. But hopefully you've, like, my breakdown's been good. And if you have found this video, please, oh my God, I can't English. If you have found my breakdown useful in any way, please do make sure to like and subscribe, because I make GTA 6 videos, and whenever I live stream, they're Q&As to answer your questions. Saeed says, will Rockstar cancel GTA 6? No, too much money's gone into it. Has there been any new screenshots? Nope. Just reading up through chat. Not to be political, but I prefer barbecue sauce over ketchup. Barbecue sauce is goated. What about Trailer 2 being reserved for the PS5 Pro? Right, so that's something else. Tomorrow is the launch day of the PS5 Pro. Now, the PS5 Pro, there's rumors. I mean, it is rumors and speculation. Let's be very clear on that. I'm not saying this is definite, but there's rumors that Sony have done a marketing deal with Rockstar. So it means that there'll be like a PS5 or PS5 Pro that's covered in like GTA 6 branding. There is some possibility that when the PS5 Pro is officially publicly released tomorrow, that, I mean, we are clutching at straws here, and I want to make that categorically clear, but there's a chance, albeit very small, there is a chance that we may get something from Rockstar. But once again, I want to say that is the very pièce de résistance of speculation. Let's make that very clear from the get-go. Because I know someone's going to clip that and say that I said it as fact. Cyber, do you think Rockstar will do a GTA 4 remaster / port? No, I just don't see it happening. It's Mervin, €2.50. Thank you so much, dude. Wait, will the call still be going on? The call's finished, I'm afraid. If you rewind the stream, you can catch up with it. When do you think Trailer 2 will come out? I think December. I'm still saying December. But once again, I'm not saying that I'm not putting money on it. I'm not saying it's going to happen for sure. I'm saying that, in my personal opinion, that's the most likely time frame. Why didn't you kiss me like that? George, man. I think the call sounded a bit like that because of the fact it was all over the phone. It just didn't sound like, everyone's voices sounded a bit muffled and high. Well, I mean, I'm wearing a mask, so I can't really say anything. At this current point in time, do you think that trailer 2 is fully complete at the moment and Rockstar Games are just sitting on it at the moment? I think if the trailer is due to come out in December, and this is a big if, what if, but maybe, then yeah, the trailer's probably complete, if not being finalized, if not being reviewed. Yeah, I think that would be a fair assumption. Why were the callers talking like nah, they weren't. The LED strip has me mesmerized. Yeah, that light bar. So that light bar's supposed to be one color, but I lost the remote to it. And I lost the remote to it like the other day before I stream. And then I went to stream today and I realized I still can't find the remote. So you'll be 21 when GTA 6 releases. I'll be 27. Yeah, I feel old. My back's going. Are we going to see the 3 walking ladies in trailer 2 though? Maybe. I think trailer 2 will be primarily focused around Jason. I think trailer 1 was like 50% about Lucia, but more 50% of look at this world. I think trailer 2 is going to niche down on the story a little bit, maybe less world and more Jason and Lucia. But then again, once again, we are speculating. Right, guys, I am going to call the stream there. Because the mask. But if you have enjoyed, please make sure to like and subscribe. It means the absolute world to me, and thank you so much for everyone for sticking around for this. I'm shocked that so many of you watched and stayed. I'll be posting a full review video about this, summary of everything, that'll be coming out probably tomorrow. So if you did enjoy today's video, please make sure to stick around on the channel, like, subscribe, and the Discord as well is linked below this video. Go and join the Discord. That's where we have the chats, that's where I announce streams, that's where I break down information, and that's where you get alerts for brand new videos. So thank you so much for coming once again. Please like, subscribe, click the button, do the thing. I appreciate you all so much for being here. Yeah, I love it. I love when we get earnings calls because you all come along. And yeah, big love everyone. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.